He was just a poor boy scooping ice cream behind a counter, invisible to the world. But inside him was a dream so big, no one believed it. He had no money, no degree, and no support. Yet, years later, he would own an empire of ice cream shops across the country. This is the untold story of Daniel, the boy who turned struggle into success. Daniel grew up in a small town in Ohio. His father passed away when Daniel was only 12. His mother worked 2 jobs, cleaning offices in the mornings and waiting tables at night. Life was never easy. Daniel saw kids his age buying new clothes, eating out, living a normal teenage life. But for him, every dollar mattered. At 16, Daniel took his first job in the only place that would hire him, a run-down ice cream shop called Sweet Treats. It wasn't glamorous. The pay was low. The hours were long. He worked weekends, holidays, even late nights while his friends went out to parties. Behind that counter, Daniel scooped cones, wiped sticky tables, and washed dishes in the back room until his hands ached. But while everyone else saw it as just a job, Daniel saw it differently. Every day he watched customers closely. He noticed how kids lit up when they got their favorite flavor. He noticed how stressed parents relaxed with a cold scoop. He noticed how even a $2 ice cream could bring happiness to someone's day. And deep inside, Daniel whispered to himself, "One day, I'll own a shop like this. Not just one, but many. A place where people don't just eat ice cream, they feel joy." But dreams don't pay bills. Daniel's paycheck barely covered groceries. Some nights he skipped dinner so his mother and little sister could eat. His shoes had holes. He wore the same shirts to school until they faded. His friends mocked him. "You're just an ice cream boy. What are you going to do? Scoop cones your whole life?" Daniel stayed silent, but inside, every insult fueled his fire. Still, life tested him harder. His mother fell sick and medical bills piled up. Daniel worked double shifts. He went home exhausted, often collapsing on the bed without eating. At times, he wanted to quit. At times, he hated the smell of ice cream that clung to his clothes. But whenever he thought of giving up, he remembered the promise he made to himself. "One day, I'll have my own shop. One day, this struggle will mean something." Most workers at the shop just did their job. Scoop, serve, leave. But Daniel treated every day like school. He memorized which flavors sold best in summer and which ones in winter. He studied how to talk to customers, how to upsell Sundays, how to handle complaints. When the manager counted money at the register, Daniel watched carefully. When suppliers delivered milk and sugar, he asked them questions about prices and quality. At night, when others watched TV, Daniel read books from the library, business, marketing, finance. He didn't understand everything, but he kept learning. Slowly, a vision began to form. He wasn't just dreaming of a shop anymore. He was planning one. By 22, Daniel had saved every penny he could. No vacations, no luxuries, just saving. It wasn't much, just $10,000. But to him, it was everything. He found a tiny corner store for rent. The walls were cracked, the paint peeling, the space barely big enough for a counter and freezer. But Daniel didn't care. He cleaned it himself, painted it himself, built shelves with scrap wood. He couldn't afford new machines, so he bought second-hand ones. When he finally opened his own shop, Daniel's Ice Cream, only a handful of people showed up. Some out of curiosity, others because they felt sorry for him. The first day, he made just $27. It would have crushed anyone else. But Daniel wasn't anyone else. He told himself, "It's not about how many people come today. It's about how many people will come tomorrow because of today." Running a shop wasn't easy. Daniel woke at 5 a.m. to make ice cream by hand, mixing flavors, testing recipes. He worked the counter himself, served customers with a smile, and closed at midnight. Sometimes he slept on the shop floor because he was too tired to walk home. But slowly, word began to spread. Daniel didn't just sell ice cream. He created experiences. He remembered kids' names. He made custom sundaes for couples. He gave free cones to anyone having a bad day. Soon, Daniel's Ice Cream wasn't just a shop. It was a place of happiness. By the end of the first year, his little shop was packed. Families lined up outside. And for the first time in his life, Daniel wasn't just surviving, he was building. With his profits, Daniel opened a second shop, then a third. Each one was better than the last. He created unique flavors. Midnight Dream, Sunrise Strawberry, Grandma's Cookies. People loved that his ice cream wasn't just tasty. It told a story. Media began to notice. Local newspapers wrote about the ice cream boy who made it big. Soon, investors wanted to partner with him. By his early 30s, Daniel owned 15 shops across the state. The same boy who once walked home hungry now employed dozens of workers, changing their lives just as his was changed. Years later, Daniel stood on the balcony of his company headquarters, Daniel's Creamery, Inc. He wasn't just an ice cream shop owner anymore. He was a CEO of a national chain. He had luxury cars, a beautiful home, and financial freedom. But more than wealth, he had respect. He had built something from nothing. And every time he visited one of his shops and saw a child smiling with ice cream, Daniel felt the same joy he felt at 16. When he first stood behind that counter at Sweet Treats, Daniel's story proves one thing. You don't need to start rich. You don't need a degree. You don't need luck. All you need is a dream, the courage to hold it, and the discipline to work for it. So the next time someone laughs at your dream, remember Daniel. The boy who once scooped cones for pocket money now owns an empire of ice cream shops that inspire millions. And his journey whispers to all of us, never underestimate where you start, because it's not about the scoop in your hand today. It's about the empire you can build tomorrow.